Alright, y'all, we got another one at Taco Bell. I think this is the first time we did a Taco Bell order. Like I said, the weather a little better today, drive time wise, so we taking some lesser orders, but it's one person, $11, and it's like 3.5 miles. Hopefully, it's done already, so we walk in. Does this order have a drink? Does this order I got a drink? Yeah, it's a large blue raspberry something. So wait for the drink and then we get this delivered. Like I said, well, I don't do a lot of Taco Bell orders, but like I said, the weather is decent today, and this one is only 3.5 miles away for $11, so it ain't the best, but it ain't a terrible order either. All right, we got our drink with it. Get our picture. All right, and this one's gonna be 9 minutes, so 9 minutes ain't bad on the trip. $11, and then we hopefully catch another one in this hour and make this hour worth something. Let me get y'all back in the ride, then we'll get this one dropped off. All right, y'all, in a minute. All right, y'all. So like I said, that last trip we took, we ended up getting another $5 tip. They tipped us on the app for the Chick-fil-A order we did. So that was kind of nice. It brought up our average from 22 to like 24 an hour, or like 23.25 or something an hour, something like that. But that was a decent trip. I'm glad the people was feeling generous and tipped us a little more and made it nice. I like when you get tipped a little over what you was expecting. Like I said, we're going back to Poland with this trip. 3 miles away, $11, and we're in a 7:30 hour right now, so it's about 8 minutes in. So we're gonna see if we can put something up with this $11 trip. Like I said, it's only 8 minutes away. We'll still be in our zone. It took us a few minutes, 10 minutes or so, 15 minutes, maybe longer, before we got another decent trip. 1 or 2 had popped in, but then it was just paused for a while. So some people told me they noticed that with DoorDash. If you don't accept a lot of their trips, what they'll do is they'll pause the orders that's even coming to your phone for a while, and it'll seem like, you ain't gonna get no orders even though it be lit up red saying that it's busy, and then finally they'll start popping in again. But I heard somebody else say DoorDash do that, and I've noticed it quite a few times when I don't accept maybe 7, 8 orders in a row. Then what they'll do is they'll idle the app for a while, so then you won't get anything for 10 minutes, maybe sometime. I've had it as long as maybe an hour, a half hour without getting a trip before. And like I said, it all switch up the depending on how many trips you take. Like I say, I only take certain kind of trips, so I don't mind if it paused. I wish it didn't, but I'd rather for it to pause and then send me good trips like I want than not. But like I say, a trip like this, 3 miles, 3.5 miles for $11 when the weather is good, and the roads ain't bad, that's a decent trip, you know what I mean? Because you can always get another trip just like that, pretty much, hopefully right away. Because the average tip I've noticed for DoorDash is about $3 or $4 on average, and then go from there depending on where you order from and different stuff like that. But people don't really, like I said, if you do Uber Eats, if you ever done Uber Eats and you tried out each app to see, you'll notice on Uber Eats people to the tip bigger. And like I said, I don't know if that just comes from the fact that Uber Eats started off where you had to have a real credit card to even use Uber. And so it was mostly adults using Uber or people with, good credit. You know what I'm saying? Just what it is. Mostly people with good credit who had either bank accounts or credit cards. And DoorDash, I don't know if it was always like that with DoorDash or if they changed, as they got more popular, but I noticed that between DoorDash and Uber Eats that the tips are always better, but depending on where you live. If you live in a big city, then you probably do well with Uber Eats. But if you live in a small city or a small town, DoorDash is probably more popular in your area. Because they seem to have got out into all of the smaller areas that the Uber market wasn't serving. And that's where they built their clientele at. And now they're, like I said, they're pretty popular amongst the delivery services overall, but I still think Uber Eats in a big city, you're gonna make more money with Uber Eats, especially if you drive an Uber too, because if you drive Uber and do Uber Eats, you get those surge prices, which I don't know if you just do Uber Eats by itself, if you get the same amount of surge pricing that you do when you're driving. But I know if you got the driving app and you're using the driving app and you're using the food app at the same time, then you end up getting, like I say, you can get a surge rate where it'll tell you your next trip is going to be a minimum of $40. You know what I mean? And as long as you don't cut that app off and you accept the trip that it gives you, I think on the next trip, then whatever that is, you get usually $40 on top of whatever the offer was. So they usually turn out to be big trips. That's the thing I like about Uber. With DoorDash, and as far as I say, since I've been doing it, like I said, I didn't do it in South Florida. I only did it since I've been in Ohio. You never get a surge rate that high. Your surge be from $1 more an hour to $3.50 more an hour is the biggest I've seen. And then they'll sneak in and won't tell you. They'll give you like peak pay for certain orders, but it's not consistent. It's not consistent on any of it. So I don't know really how they're, even though I've been doing it for a while and I read through some of the information they give you about earnings and different things like that, it's nothing that's specific that guarantees, okay, if I pick up an order from Chick-fil-A between 7 and 8, I'm gonna get $3 surge rate on that, or $4 surge rate, or $7 surge rate. Like I said, don't tell you until you actually pick up. So I get a lot of the times where I'll take orders, especially grocery shopping orders, or if you go to Lowe's or they have you do something like that, those kind of orders I'll pick up, and then once I drop them off, I'll find out that DoorDash paid, the rate that got that order delivered, because they may give you, DoorDash sometimes will give you $17 plus a $2 delivery fee, and the people may have not tipped anything. So it looked like a $19 order. You think the people tipped, but really they didn't tip anything. DoorDash just, I guess, maybe wanted to get the order out of there, so they paid the fee. But like I say, I've gotten it where, like I say, the ones we did earlier with the Myers trip, one of them only tipped $2, another person tipped $7. So DoorDash ended up tipping about $18 or $19 to make that trip worthwhile, because I probably never took it if I was only getting the $7, $8, $9 plus the standard $2 delivery fee that DoorDash gives. I'd have probably never took that order, not for the mileage that it was. So, like I said, ain't always the customer to tip, but sometimes you get customers who tip after the delivery. The one thing I don't like about Uber Eats now is, and hopefully they gonna change it, but what they'll do is they'll allow people up to I think an hour or 24 hours after the delivery to decide if they want to take the tip back that they gave. So a lot of people were scamming with Uber. They might tip like $20, and so the order may end up being like $28 for a few miles, but then they take back the $20 tip, and then you'll get like $8, and you had just went like 10 miles or 8 miles. And I don't think Uber should have start allowing people to do that, because a lot of people just do it to get you to accept the trip, because they know nobody would accept the trip based on the distance for just a standard fee, and then they pretty much they're stealing the tip back and getting the order for a different price. So I don't think that's really cool, and that's something you gotta look out for when you're doing the Uber Eats. Alright, so we're gonna get this one dropped off. We got a pet fence. I always look out for the invisible fence signs and the pet fence signs, because I don't want to get out of the vehicle and then have a dog come running out of somewhere. So, excuse me. Regardless if you see the invisible fence signs or the pet fence signs, be cautious getting out delivering this food or whatever you may be delivering, because you never know. You never know if somebody got a set up. Alright, so we got that one delivered. You can hear the dog in there barking. but he wasn't outside, so we safe. They tipped decent. It was a $7 tip, and DoorDash gave $2 base pay and $2 peak pay on that. So that's what made it $11. But we gonna see if we can, like I said, get back to our zone, which, excuse me, we still are in our zone. But we're gonna get back to our staging area and see if we can get another trip or get a couple more trips in this 7:30 hour to make this worth something. Like I said, we're starting off this 7:30 hour with $11. So, you know, take that and